Shit, man. I just recorded the stream twice and it's still not working. What the hell is going on? Alright. We might not have that many people for the stream, but it's okay. I'm gonna have to stream it. Alright.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Alright, and welcome. This is the Red Pill with the Red Pill News Dispensary. And normally, I come out with, I like to do my call-in shows at night. It seems like once a week I'm breaking a story, like first to it, but then here and there I come across these certain stories where I just cannot ignore the craziness of just how unbelievable it is. And this is not clickbait, okay? What you are seeing is legit. So let's go into it here. Of course, I'm having all these computer problems. I had already done this stream twice, except as a recording. Okay, so as soon as it gives me the ability to read what I've had up this whole time. But anyways, so okay. Like for instance, last night we had a stream up and we took calls, and one of the calls were about prison reform, and there was a lot of good ideas. Like all of my shows, just great calls, great ideas, just people thinking outside of the box. Now, this might not be one of those situations, let's just say. So what we got here is Bernie Sanders. Crazy Bernie. So, terrible people, in quotes, like the Boston Marathon bomber, should have the right to vote, he says. So I guess this was at a town hall. I'm surprised because I think it was actually even up here in New Hampshire, but let's read the article. I haven't actually read the whole article. I did talk about it twice on a recording already, but those just are not uploading, so we're gonna have to do this live. Alright, so I didn't even know I was live the first 2 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can cut those out. So let's read this. Let's read this article, because it sounds like clickbait when you click on it, but this is real. Alright. So this is actually, wow, this is breaking. This came out today, 412, but actually UTC, so that's a little different. So Senator Bernie Sanders, independent in Vermont, told a CNN town hall Monday, which I'm thinking might have been in New Hampshire. I'm not sure. That's the only part that's opinion. Might have been in New Hampshire. Everything else is fact. And the fact he said in New Hampshire, I mean, as someone from Boston, I remember that day. That was horrible. But let's continue. That he supports allowing felons to vote, including sex offenders and even the Boston Marathon bomber. Here is my view, Sanders told moderator Chris Cuomo after a member of the audience posed a question about whether felons like the Boston Marathon bomber and sex offenders should be given the ballot and the right to vote. If somebody commits a serious crime, sexual assault, murder, they're going to be punished. They may be in jail for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, their whole lives. Now, normally this is when the politician says, so after they pay their dues, at that point, now for these types of crimes, I think that they should just lose that right forever. I mean, in some states, any felony will do that. But, I think unless, outside of these horrible crimes like terrorism, murder, sexual assault, molest, pedophilia, all this type of stuff. That's forever. But a lot of people might say, hey, you do 10 years in jail, you get out, you've done your time, you should be able to vote again. If it's just like, let's say, like assault and battery, things like that, drugs, things of that nature. But no, that's not where he's going with this. This is where he's going. That's what happens when you commit a serious crime. But I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy. I'm sorry, I'm saying again. But I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy. Yes, even for the terrible people. Because once you start chipping away and you say, well, that guy committed a terrible crime, not going to let him vote, or that person did that, not going to let that person vote, you're running down a slippery slope. Well, you know what? I agree. Except the type of crimes you're talking about are the type that decimate communities and our future. It's unbelievable. This is really unbelievable to me. So I believe that people commit crimes, then pay the price. When they get out of jail, I believe they certainly should have the right to vote. Now, last night, like I said, we talked about some prison reform on our call-ins, which were great, by the way, outside of the one guy that tried to do the stolen valor, but he ended up learning, my show isn't the place to try that. But here he goes on, and he goes, but I do believe that even if they are in jail, they are paying their price to society. But that should not take away their inherent American right to participate in our democracy. Now, rightfully so, after Cuomo pointed out Sanders had basically written a campaign ad against himself by saying he thought the Boston Marathon bomber should be allowed to vote, Sanders doubled down on his position. Well, Chris, I think I have written many 30-second opposition ads throughout my life. As I'm sure everyone went, oh, and because you know what? Yeah, that's something that a lot of people do like about Bernie. He says what he feels. He doesn't worry about what people think. But guess what? If this is the type of stuff that you're thinking, I'm happy you said it because it's disgusting. We continue. This will be just another one, Sanders said while the audience laughed. Oh, so yeah. But I do believe, look, this is what I believe. Do you believe in democracy? Do you believe that every single American 18 years of age or older who is an American citizen has the right to vote? Once you start chipping away at that, believe me, that's what our Republican governors all over this country are doing. They come up with all kinds of excuses why people of color, young people, and poor people can't vote. And I will do everything that I can to resist it. So, I mean, those of you out there, the people of color, young people, poor people, I don't know, is he basically comparing you to sex offenders, pedophiles, and terrorists. I don't know, but let's move on. That kind of struck me odd right there. I would not like that, and I don't like it because like up here in Massachusetts, trust me, I'm used to this type of crap. These crazy progressive, supposedly liberal, but they're really oppressive ideas. And I had a one time I got kicked out of class, not just class, but the whole school. I had to be escorted off because somebody was screaming at me. These two girls, African American girls, screaming at me, swearing at me, no reason, out of nowhere, because I asked a simple question that had to do with what we were talking about in class. And I know this isn't part of the article. You guys aren't here for this. This will be quick. And so, they're going on and white boy this, white boy this, white boy that, white boy this. And I'm like, listen, will you relax? I'm like you sound like an idiot. And I'm like, you don't even know my history. I was in the military. I was like, I grew up, trust me, I grew up in a way tougher neighborhood than you. I mean, first of all, by where this school is, I know it. And second, by how they acted, I could just tell. I mean, and plus, there's only one tougher neighborhood in Boston than where I grew up. I mean, it's like 1A. And then I said, and by the way, my daughter is mixed race. Her mother is half black. So she's mixed, black and white, my daughter. And as soon as I said that, they're like, oh, for real? All right, we're cool then. And that's when I'm like, wait, what? So what? If I just had a white daughter, we wouldn't be cool? There'd be a problem? I'm like, go fuck yourself, Like, I'm sick of this shit. And I get kicked off. I literally got escorted off campus. All right? They got a standing ovation from the friggin' classroom for nothing, even though everyone at the end ended up talking about how bad it was at the end of class when they weren't around and I was. I mean, that's the type of character these people have that were clapping, But when I was escorted out, you hear them clapping. Then, when we were taking finals and they didn't make it to that point, they had quit by then. And, at that point, everyone's telling me how brave I was. And I'm just being myself. Anyone who knows me you guys know, I have a edge to me. But at the same time, I'm a very nice guy. But I can have an edge if you do something offensive, like the Stolen Valor guy last night. But anyways, let's continue. Sanders also made headlines for an answer to a question about whether or not Democrats should focus on impeaching President Donald Trump. At the end of the day, what is most important to me is to see that Donald Trump is not reelected president. And I intend to do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen, Sanders said, according to CNN. But if, and this is an if for the next year and a half, going right into the heart of the election, all that the Congress is talking about is impeaching Trump and Trump and Mueller. Yeah. That's when you know that, he's totally exonerated, because if it was, if there was anything there, he wouldn't be saying that. He'd be one of those people sitting there, Trump, Mueller report. They wouldn't shut up about it. They still don't. Even though it's a total fail, they still don't shut up about it. Anyways. And we're not talking about healthcare. We're not talking about raising the minimum wage to a living wage. We're not talking about combating climate change. We're not talking about sexism and racism and homophobia and all the issues that concern ordinary Americans. What I worry about is that works to Trump's advantage. Now, first of all, that list, I don't think that exactly is number one on ordinary Americans' list. You know what? Actually, I'll take that back. The raising minimum living wage. I think that's something that is ordinary Americans care about. The rest of it, I think they're sick of it all. Now, the only one that people used to care about was the climate change. But since for the past 3 years, the climate has actually cooled, and so much science has come out, kind of the other way, and that even when it is warming, there's nothing that we can really do about it anyways. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that you know, I mean, I guess when you don't believe in God, you know, uppercase G, you know, uppercase Lord, Lord Creator. If you don't believe in that, then yeah, I could see why maybe you think that we could have this, that we could change it on our own. But if something's going to be, if it's going to be saved or it's going to go bad, then it's just going to, and that's just my opinion. But I think it's a sound one. The earth is one of those things that, you know, it's there's things at work that mere man cannot fix. So we continue. Unless that is the end. So actually, yes, that is the end of it. Actually, I just want to hear what some of you guys think about this in the comment section. Normally, I just kind of stick to, you know, my I've already broken 4 or 5 stories. I'm talking about like first to it, like first on YouTube to touch it, and about 4 or 5 of them, and I'm still fairly new, and had to take a hiatus. For those of you who don't know me, you guys hopefully can get to know me, and if you like what you're hearing here, don't just subscribe. Subscribe, please subscribe. No, if you like what you hear and you watch another video, see if you like it, and see if I'm somebody that you would like to get news from. Listen to call-in shows with and one thing I can guarantee is I stay on top of things and I report things in a way where I'm quick. A lot of times I'm first, and I kind of look at it like when you report it, I try to take I'll give my honest opinion, but at the same time, well, you know what? I don't even want to. I feel like I'm like talking myself. Just watch the videos and you'll see. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I just wanted to get this information out there because I'm noticing that I am not seeing it on YouTube, at least when I was looking. And as far as, I mean, this just broke today anyway. So yeah, it seems. So I would think it would have been around like 10 something. So this news is, yeah, it's today. It's new. It's new news. So maybe that's why I didn't see it. And as far as like on TV, didn't see it anywhere. As far as on the internet, I only find it on these websites like this, Salon. So just give this some thought, you know, and you really have to think. I mean, I think the reason for this, and this is where opinion comes in. Everything before that, as far as what I was reading, was fact. But I think the reason why the left feels so comfortable being like this is because they know that 99.5, I would say, percent of Americans are either 100% for Trump or 100% against Trump. So basically what it's going to come down to is how many people come out to vote for Trump, and you already basically know who you are. And then, you know, on the other side, instead of trying to look for somebody who is, you know, represents their views yet is central enough to win the general election, you know, to win against a Republican. That's always usually Democrats. And it's always gone well for them. I think they messed up by having Hillary as their candidate. I think had it been, and actually the polls show it, Bernie could have easily won. Had he would be our president possibly right now. So you know what? I'm happy that they put old Hillary in there. I mean, she had way too much dirt. She had no business being a candidate. And she had this way about her, like she inherited your vote. She made black people feel like, oh, well, you know, just because they're African American, they automatically owe her their vote. No. And you know what? She ended up getting a large majority of that vote, but she obviously didn't perform the way they thought she would, and he outperformed what anyone thought, including myself. And if anyone says that they predicted it, you're probably lying, but if you are telling the truth, there's no way that you predicted it would be a landslide like it was. It ended up being. I mean, every single state that they thought that was a battleground state, he won. Except for one. That's it. And even states that they thought weren't even a chance, he won. It's just unbelievable. So anyways, guys, this is the Red Pill News Dispensary. Oh, and so what I was saying. So basically, what you're gonna see, I think, on the Democrat side of this election, is you're gonna see the left go crazy, because if basically all that matters is who comes out of that, it's gonna be like the Republican Party was in the last election. There's gonna be all these candidates, and they're all gonna be trying to outdo each other. And they're gonna and their ideas are gonna get more radical, further left, and more progressive, yet oppressive, and just outrageous. And it's going to, I think they're going to end up, and actually even Obama said this, and I agree with him, it's going to be like a circular firing squad. And they're all going to get in a circle, they're all going to pull out their favorite piece and start shooting. And the last one standing is going to be, they're going to have some extreme left views. Now, we haven't seen that before, because normally it's the other way around. The extreme left guy doesn't make it. The central person is the one they put up against the Republican, because, in any other election, there's you can bring voters over, and there's a good percentage that's in the middle, undecided, the undecided voter. And usually that undecided voter likes some Republican things, likes some Democrat things. I was always that type of voter. But from what, since I've been awake, I voted for Trump. And I will vote for Trump again. Does that mean I will never vote Democrat the rest of my life? No. I mean, it would definitely take a huge change. They would have to totally change the whole way they go about things, because it just seems anti-American. It's just a lot of problems with it. But anyways, I just want you guys to check me out, and let's see if what I'm saying comes to fruition, because that's exactly what I think. It's just going to be like, they're going to one-up each other with the craziest ideas, and it's just going to get crazier and crazier, and that's what people hate. That's what people can't stand, is how outrageous the left has become. And it's just going to drive people right to Trump. Or what it will really do, like on a scale that will win the election for Trump, is keep them at home. They're not going to have enough passion where they're going to come out in droves. They might come out in droves against Trump, but when you see all this nonsense going on, the passion won't be there. And they're going to look at the economy, and they're going to say, you know what? I'll just stick with him another 4 years. I'm not going to vote for him, but I'm just going to stay home. And that's what I think is going to happen. So a lot of you guys have been messaging me or sending me emails, rather, which, by the way, this time I put my emails in the description. But also in the description, I put a PayPal account. Now, you guys know, people keep on telling me to do a Patreon, but the problem with the Patreon is, one, I don't want to look like I'm about the money, because I'm about the truth. Now, that sounds like something someone would say who's actually about the money, but I haven't made $1 since I've been on YouTube, okay? And that's the truth. And I don't try to make money. You never hear me try to make money, because I'm not trying to make money. I'm not saying that I have money. I'm not saying I'm well off. I'm a single dad. It's not easy, but I'm not relying on YouTube to save me either. that this is just something that I've always loved, and now that I have enough people, enough of a platform, I just love doing these call-in shows at night. Which, if you are new to this channel, check them out. Check out the last two. They were great. And then also, I love breaking the story. That is really like the high for me. That is like the best feeling when you know you were the first one to it. And all of a sudden, over the next few days after that, you start seeing a bunch of other people coming in with that story. So there's been 5 stories that I've broke. I know I was the first one to it. This one, I'm not gonna lie, I did see one other video before I started making this. I saw one other video, somebody was already talking about this. So I'm not gonna say I broke this. One of the first you'll see, but didn't break it. But this one. It's not about breaking the story. This is just me getting out some information that I think is fascinating. So anyways, like I was saying, so if I was to do Patreon, then that means what? I'm gonna withhold information. Because if I ever had Patreons, I would want to be able to provide them some type of service that's worth their money. I mean, for somebody who wasn't looking to make money and beg for money, I'm definitely not going to sit there and ask you to be my patron and then I have nothing to offer you. Because I'm not going to withhold some of the best information from my regular viewers and just save it for Patreons. I'm just never going to do something like that, which is why I will never have a Patreon account. You will never see me having a Patreon account. Another thing, I've had the ability to do super chats now for like 3 weeks, not one. And I do 6-hour-long shows. I do whatever it is. I've broken all these stories when I'm first to it, and people really appreciate the information. I'm just not going to do the super chats. But, I am looking to build studio, and this is where the butt comes in. The one thing, and I already had one of these anyways, was PayPal. I had a PayPal anyways. So I just kind of switched it up, made it for Red Pill instead of, my name, which is all it was before. And I made it for Red Pill News. I put a link to it in the description, and I think actually by accident at the top where it shows the pill in the hand, it's there as well, but I don't know if you can actually click that or not. So I just put it in the description. I'm just basically looking to just get studio stuff, just that special camera that some people have. Like I know the Soapbox has it. I know Mafugo has it. It's a beautiful camera. I mean, that would probably be the most expensive thing. A microphone. I do have a microphone, but it's type that like clips to my laptop, so that works for now. I mean, a mixer would be great. So just the type of things that I can do to help better bring the news to you, to help better do live call-in shows, which I do almost every night. So like I said, and if please, I want to get this information out there. So like, share. Now, as far as subscribing, I would love you to be a subscriber. But you know what? Take a look at some of my more recent videos, some of my older videos, whatever you want to do. You can see a progression. I'll tell you that much from when I started to now. And I love it, and I enjoy doing it. So if anyone really has it, and they really just have this burning desire that they want to kind of help out a little bit and help me get the studio, and anything helps, by the way, the best way to do it is PayPal. Okay, so that's my answer to all those emails. Okay, I even hate that I even talked that long about it, but I'm not going to sit here, and you never hear me talk about money. Anyone who subscribed to me since the beginning will tell you I don't talk about money. So this is the one time that I am mentioning that I did finally change the PayPal so it's for the Red Pill News, and I'll put that in the description of videos. That's as far as I'll go with it. So I hope everyone has a pleasant evening, and we will be doing a call-in show tonight. And when you need a red pill, please come get your Pez.